Never in my life, when I received this as a gag gift, did I actually think it was ever going to appear on my YouTube channel. But we're on the tail end, and 2020 just happened. Here we are, and I've got a poop emoji in my YouTube channel. Guys, really important topic today. I'm excited, all joking aside. I will tell you this, if you don't like dad jokes about poop, you're probably not going to want to watch this video. I'm just going to go ahead and be transparent with you right now, because I'm not going to be able to help myself throughout this. Talking about this and trying to be serious about it is just probably not going to happen. So expect some poop jokes along the way. If you're okay with that sort of thing, you're probably going to have a good time. But I want to talk about Viome. I've watched a lot of videos that people have done about Viome, and I feel like the only thing that's missing is a little bit of context, right? So for me, and to kind of backtrack and give you a little bit about my story, if you don't know who I am, about 4 years ago, I was on the tail end of building my first startup venture. We had reached heights that I never thought we would reach. We had surpassed the seven-figure mark, and I started really feeling horrible, and I just had no energy, and I started putting on undesirable weight in certain areas, and I just felt lethargic, and my brain, I couldn't focus, and I had a lot of brain fog and all these various things. And these are things I had felt when I was in my teens, and it subsided a little bit, but it came to a head, right before my 30th birthday. And so my wife, she had said, I heard about this company, called Progressive Medical Center in Atlanta. Shout out to Progressive. And they really do like integrative medicine, more functional medicine versus MD. I got really tired of MDs. I was tired of taking pills that had all these crazy side effects. I didn't want to go that route anymore. So I just decided to give it a shot. We went and spent thousands of dollars on labs. And I found that I had, among many things, thyroid issues, adrenal issues, crazy deficiencies across the board. I mean, everything. Like my testosterone level was, scary low, right? Like everything was just really, really bad. But what we discovered was, and what the doctors told us was, it largely started as a result of really poor gut health. Because with poor gut health, in addition to the inflammation, in addition to a lot of things that are going on, including malabsorption, it causes a chain reaction throughout your body, right? So I really do believe, and I've become an advocate for talking about gut health, because I really do think it's not everything, and I'm not here to tell you this, a cure-all for everything, but I really do believe it's at the core foundation of health and wellness. So here's the deal. It's not everything, but you're not going to have it without it, right? Like, it is a fundamental piece that must be incorporated for you to achieve health, wellness, vitality, energy, the physique you want, the vitality you want, the libido that you want, anything that you want. You've got to have the gut right for all those things to happen. So it's very important that we discuss that. I no longer use Viome. I'll be completely transparent with you. I have used it. My wife has used it. I have friends that use it. I have graduated on, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit in this video about the other options that are out there. But bang for buck, and if you're new to this, Viome is the way to go. So stick around. We're going to talk about it today, and I'm going to help you be and achieve that happy, amazing, vibrant self that you once were and long to be again. All right, let's get started. Don't forget, my name is CMH. I am the host of StartupU TV, host of StartupU podcast, and the founder of StartupU, an interactive learning platform for online business owners. Little sneak peek, but I'm actually going to be having some brand new merch, StartupU merch, I'll be wearing on the channel from now on. If you're an entrepreneur, I think you're going to dig some of the stuff we came up with. I think it looks really, really cool. If you're an entrepreneur, I think you're going to jive with the sayings and things and the slogans and the logos and the branding and stuff we come up with. We're going to have that merch available for you if you want to help us out, support the channel, but also have some really cool stuff to wear. We're continuing our productivity series, and you may think, why are we talking about poop for productivity? Well, all the things I just mentioned. If you don't have energy, if you don't have vitality, if you have brain fog, right? If you have gut-brain axis dysfunction, you're not going to have productivity. So I want to get to the root of the issues that you may be experiencing, and at the very least, I think this is going to give you some clarity, right? So let's talk about the benefits of Viome. One of the things I love about Viome is they've really modernized a lot of the processes when it comes to GI testing. I love their packaging. I love it's sleek. I love that they have modern solutions. And I'll give you an example. When your box arrives in the mail, so you order your kit, it shows up, right? You get various things inside, which is not dissimilar to other lab offers. However, the mechanism by which you collect your sample is, let's just say, a lot more enjoyable experience, right? So you receive this little piece, like think the covers for a toilet seat, right? If you're in public and you don't want to expose yourself to that, so you cover the toilet seat with that little paper. That's exactly the same material that you receive. What Viome did, which is really interesting, is they made a mechanism that fits over the bowl of the seat, under your actual seat where you're sitting, but covers the bowl and tapes to the sides. Now, by contrast, some of the other GI testing labs, what they send you is literally, if you remember back in high school, those little carton French fry holders, right? Literally, that's what you imagine. You're literally having to contort your body and stick this thing under you and make sure that you don't drop it or get it on yourself or in your hand or pee on it. I mean, literally, like it's quite a juggling act to try to manage all those things. So I appreciate the fact that things like that, and that's not the only thing that Viome does. We're going to talk about many things they do that are just much more modernized than some of the other solutions that are out there. But it sits as it sits, right? You handle your business on it with Viome. It just tapes to the side. You go right in the center of this paper. And then you take your vial that they send. Part of what they send in the kit is a little vial. You screw off the top, and then there's a little spoon, literally a mini spoon, that's built into the cap, right? Just comes off with the cap. You're going to take your sample from various parts of your leftovers that you just are providing to the universe, and you're going to scoop that out, put it back in the vial, and then as far as collection is concerned, you're done. Now, the awesome part about this, from a cleanliness standpoint, is you untape it, you put it in the toilet, and you flush, right? Donezo. Well, as you can imagine, there's a lot more of a cleaning process involved with the other mechanism that I told you with the fry container, and you got to put it in the. I mean, it's not fun. All right, I'll be honest with you. It's not something I look forward to when it's time to do labs. I do my labs about once a year, if not every 6 months. It's a very unenjoyable process. So that's a huge bonus. They send you inside. There's a kit with a return label. You've got a little bag. You just slap it on there, drop it off at your local UPS or FedEx, and it's off. And that's it. You're done. You can literally have that done like that, right? Now, you're going to take a couple weeks. It's going to be probably 3 weeks. Sometimes I've seen as long as a month and a half, 2 months, or I've heard people claim as much. It depends on how much they're backed up. You know what I mean? At Viome, as far as how much, how many labs they have coming in. I know they've been extremely busy. So I know that it sometimes takes longer than what they anticipate. But what you're going to receive is this. And this is the part that's really special. This is the part that I want to show you, because I feel like this is really what, bang for buck wise, I think you're getting so much. So let me show you this. Okay, so as you open your PDF that they send you, this is your custom report, right? So what you're going to see is it's going to show your scores. Now, this isn't too dissimilar, albeit it is dissimilar from your traditional labs that you receive. It's going to show where you are on a scale, right? So it's going to say your butyrate production. It's going to explain to you exactly what that is, why that's important, and so on and so forth, right? So we're talking about gut lining, various things that are going to be affecting that specific. Okay, that means nothing to you, so hang tight, right? You'll go through, it's going to show you where you are on the spectrum. Again, needs work, methane gas production, pathways, oxalate metabolism, uric acid, digestive efficiency, right? So it's going to show you all the things you're doing well versus all the things where you're not doing so well, okay? So that may not mean much to you if you're not interested in those sorts of things. But what it will tell you is where you are in the spectrum, but also what percentile you're in, right? So you'll see, okay, I'm in the good, which is 28% of Viome customers. And again, it'll explain to you exactly what that means and why it's important. Now, here's the problem. In traditional labs, and I'll show you one in a second here. This is all you get, except it's a little bit more in depth with just more data. But there's no advice. There's no, you should do this, you should eat this, you should stop doing this. There's nothing. So the problem is that you have to take it to somebody else to get interpretation as far as what that means. What I love about what Viome does, if we're looking at this report here, we go all the way to the bottom, is it does give you a lot of those various things that they test in terms of the various bacteria, which again doesn't matter to you. But let's look at the second lab, because this is the one that really is going to make a lot of things tie together for you. This is a 62-page report. Okay, it's going to tell you your potential foods, 63 recommended for vegetables, 5 to avoid, 7 servings a day, proteins, fats, fruits and grains, herbs and spices. It literally is going to help you break out a meal plan that is specific for your nutritional profile needs, right? So let's take a look at the first one. These are the superfoods. These are things that are really just going to, be conducive to supporting your gut health. So artichoke, and it's going to tell you specifically why it says it'll be optimal for you. Because it is determined that inulin is converted by your microbiome into produce butyrate, which we saw was low on the lab. So it's going to help you in that specific area address the butyrate concern, right? Other things to consider here, asparagus, right? Super antioxidant, pathways to decrease inflammation. So we saw an inflammation issue there. So now we're seeing, okay, cool. Well, this specific food, if I eat asparagus, is going to help me with the inflammation. So as you'll see, there's a list of superfoods here. We won't go through all of them, but let's scroll down because this is even more insightful here. It's not just superfoods, which are great. And there's a lot of them, pages and pages of superfoods that you could consider. Here's the deal. Check this out. Bell pepper is on the list of avoid. Okay. Now, here's the problem that I see. A lot of people don't understand some of these functions, right? They don't understand, okay, well, I'm not eating McDonald's and I don't drink soda and I work out 5-6 days a week. How am I still having inflammation? How do I still have bloating? I'm busting my butt. And the problem is this. They end up either doing a couple of various things. They just drink more caffeine because they're tired, exhausted, brain fog, and they think, oh my God, I need more caffeine. That makes it worse, by the way, doing that, because you're going to stimulate even more cortisol. Your body's already producing a lot of cortisol to fight the inflammation. Now you're going to start affecting everything. You're going to start creating that chain reaction that I created. The exact same thing. Lo and behold, it wasn't the McDonald's. It wasn't the fact you weren't working out hard enough. It wasn't the fact you were doing all these various things right. It's the fact that you're eating something like bell pepper that in this season, not forever, but in this season, bell pepper is causing you to have an inflammatory response. Can you believe that? So for me, I've had avocado show up on my list. I've had macadamia nuts show up on my list. I've had variety of healthy superfoods in some cases show up on my avoid list. Now, we can talk about the reasons as to why. Again, one of the biggest reasons that I was citing, there's a couple reasons for this, and I won't get too much into the trenches with this because, again, it would take a whole nother video. But one of the reasons is that, for one, we've bastardized our ecosystem, right? We've depleted the nutrients in our soil. We've completely depleted because everything is mass-produced. There's environmental toxins. There's chemicals all over. There's a lot of things that we're exposed to. No matter what you do, you're exposed to toxins that are having an effect on you. But the other thing is, and this maybe has a lot to do with the inflammation component, is we are not hunter-gatherers anymore. You can go to the local Kroger or HEB or wherever it is you live, right? Go to that grocery store, Publix, whatever region of the world you live in. And you can get whatever you want. You can have blueberries all year long. You can have bell peppers all year long. Well, in ancestrally speaking, it was a seasonal thing because you couldn't grow those things in times of the year when it wasn't conducive to growing those things. So you would have to cycle off of those and go on to other things that were more in season for that particular time of the year. That's no longer the case. So what we often do is we stick to the same foods. In addition to some of the other factors I mentioned, we eat the same foods all the time, and then we can end up develop. This is how I had the issue with avocado. I ate an avocado every day for breakfast for like a year and a half, just every day. So I created an inflammatory response. It was actually causing me issues. So I had to cycle off of it for 3 months to make sure that I could then start slowly incorporating it again. So it's almost impossible with just the way that we live, the environment around us, to not have these issues. So I don't know how you live your life and achieve optimal health without something like Viome. I really don't know how you do it. I think you're always going to be at a suboptimal health level without data. I love data. I live my life in data. I run my business with data. I don't know how you, the asset in your company, right, the asset at your work, whatever it is that you do, I don't know how you're going to operate at a peak performance level, not knowing your own data and your own updated nutritional profile in terms of what you should be putting in your body to operate at your best. I just fundamentally don't know how you do it. So we keep scrolling here. I'm going to get off my tangent. We keep scrolling here and notice other foods. There's a lot of seafood popped up in this one that I noticed. Lobster, I noticed a couple different, there's okra. Again, no one would ever thought that okra. Spinach showed up on the avoid list. Tomato, trout showed up. But let's get to this part. This is an important part too. So vegetables, all right? So it talks about the foods that you should eat. Well, here's what's really cool is they're actually breaking down on a 7-day basis various foods and superfoods that you should consider. So what you can do is you can print this out and actually make a meal plan for yourself, right? If you're so inclined to do so, make a meal plan for yourself, or at least have this, put it on the refrigerator, or put it on something, put it on a Google Doc or whatever, so these are the foods that I should take to the grocery store because I should buy these foods because they're going to help me, right? So you can look at certain things. They'll say enjoy fully, they'll say it's a superfood, or they'll say to minimize it. Doesn't mean don't eat it. You can have bok choy, has a lot of prebiotic properties. You should eat it. However, right now with your specific situation, you want to minimize that because there might be something that's going to be not interacting in the way that's favorable to your overall health and vitality. Now, they also will tell you a whole list of different things that you should include in your meal plan, but they're going to give you pages and pages and pages of different foods, different vegetables, different meats, different whatever. And I know, and this was a question that I had from my mother-in-law specifically, you can put in that you are a vegan or a vegetarian, something like that, and they will provide options to you that are inclined to not recommend that you go eat pork or chicken when you yourself are a vegetarian or a vegan. So that's that. You're going to get a whole list of things that you could really make a pretty comprehensive meal plan for yourself, and something that I think is going to be super beneficial for you as you continue in your health journey. Something else is going to be super beneficial for you as you continue your journey in life and in business is liking this video and hitting subscribe for more stuff just like this. I've heard anyways. So that's pretty much that. Now, I promise you this. I will show you this. There's other supplements that they recommend that you take. I want to make sure we covered that too. Supplements, and it's going to tell you this one's actually recommending a bifido and a lacto mixed polyphenols. Now, I will say this. Now, since we've taken this test, one thing that's really cool that Viome has done is there's actually supplementation that they provide that's based on your results. So you actually can follow up with them, and there's certain things that they'll send out to you that they recommend you take. And I have friends that have done that and have told me they feel tremendously better. So it's something I would definitely look into, specifically if you want to kind of keep continuity and not have to go elsewhere to find various sources of things that you're looking for in addition to this. So it talks about butyrate. Look for supplements with the following ingredients: butyric acid with magnesium and calcium, prebiotic. We talked about that earlier. So again, not just food recommendations, but also supplementation, which is amazing. Something I don't think you're going to find with most of these labs. Now, I've been referencing these labs, so let me show you what you get. These are mine from a couple years ago, so I wasn't as good a shape as I am now. But this is what you get. Literally what you get. So you've got your beneficials, your commensals, and obviously I didn't have dysbiotic anymore like I once did several years ago. But just looking at this, you get results, but I don't know what to do with this unless I have the lens of knowing what to do with this. I have no idea what this means. What does a 0.8 mean I don't even know how to say that, right? So for me, if you're just starting out and you don't want to have to necessarily be fully invested, and I totally understand that. You know, if you want to hire a functional medicine practitioner or a naturopath or somebody like that, somebody that understands integrative medicine, that's great. But I'm not suggesting you have to do that right out of the gates. So I think this is, again, this is what you're going to get if you go that route. I think that this is going to be far more conducive to what you're trying to accomplish working on your own. And here's the deal. I paid thousands of dollars for this wasn't the only lab, but several labs that I did. I paid thousands of dollars, and that's what I pay annually, in addition to the fee to work with an actual practitioner, in addition to the cost of supplementation. So I spend thousands and thousands of dollars because I have found that that's a requirement for me to operate the way that I need to operate to make the money that I need to make in my business. However, I understand that not everybody is willing to just jump in and go for it in that capacity. And here's the deal. I think you need to develop a level of sophistication to understand this stuff before you yourself just go to a functional medicine practitioner and just expect that they're just going to take care of you. I think they can, I think they will, but it has been in my best interest, personally, from my own anecdotal experience, for me to understand a little bit of this myself, right? So that I can have at least a high-level conversation with some of these practitioners so that I understand what the heck they're saying, and I can provide some input about some of the things that I'm experiencing that may be... So I do a lot of experimentation on my own in addition to the feedback that they provide me. I don't think you're going to have that here. I think Viome is going to be the best place for you to get started, for you to understand what's going on, what these things mean, get indoctrinated, and then eventually, either you stick with it and you do great with it, great. You don't need to work with a functional medicine practitioner. Maybe that's never the case for you. But if you want to take it to the next level, you start getting that physique that you love, you start feeling that energy you're feeling again, you start being crazy productive in your work, you're waking up early, you're flying out of bed, you're not yawning in the afternoon, you're not living on coffee, you're not, having these crazy energy spikes at 11 o'clock at night where you can't go to sleep. Guys, these are all signs of things that are fundamentally, we've accepted them to be socially normal, societally speaking. They're not. They're not normal. They're not things you should be experiencing. And I want that for you. I really do. I myself was miserable and didn't realize how miserable I was until I saw what the other side could look like. So I want that for you. I want you to like and subscribe to this channel so I can teach you more of this stuff. I want you definitely to come back for more of this. I hope Viome works out for you. Make sure you check the link. We did include the link for Viome so you can get started today to get your very first Viome. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Love and appreciate you.